Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into something deeply personal, something that's honestly an exhausting cycle that almost everyone in the modern world has experienced at one time or another. You know that lingering, heavy feeling? The one that hits you when you look in the mirror or step on a scale or just scroll through your social feed? It's that constant whispered demand of diet culture, fitness regimens, and wellness trends that somehow always seem to move the goalposts exactly when you think you've finally reached them. We're going to take a very slow, contemplative, and deeply immersive look at the real philosophy behind this phenomenon today. I just want you to pause for a second and really let the visceral weight of that question sink in. Why do you never feel thin enough? Is it a lack of willpower on your part? Is it some sort of fundamental failure of your own discipline? I mean, for decades, we've all been told that if we just find the right diet, right? The right workout routine, the right perfect balance, we'll finally achieve peace with our physical form. But what if the game is entirely rigged from the start? Because here is the core premise we're unpacking today, and it is truly paradigm shifting. The philosopher Jean Baudrillard, in his profound critique called The Consumer Society, presents a pretty dark but fascinating reality. Your body anxiety. It is not a personal failing. It's actually a deliberately manufactured feature of modern consumer society. The system quite literally needs you to be hungry, dissatisfied, and constantly searching. Now, to really understand how we got here, we have to look back at a massive historical shift in human values. Section 1. The body replaces the soul. Let's look at this historical shift. For centuries, human beings sought meaning, redemption, and a way to track their morality through a very specific, intangible vessel. In the traditional era, society focused entirely on the soul. You managed your soul, you sought salvation and moral redemption through deep spiritual discipline. Back then, the body was just flesh. It was instrumental, mostly tied to labor and nature. But today, in the consumer era, that intense, overwhelming religious energy we used to have, it hasn't disappeared. Actually, scratch that, it hasn't just not disappeared, it's been completely redirected toward the physical body. You are now expected to find your salvation, your ultimate proof of worth, entirely through your physical form. This crucial point is perfectly captured by Baudrillard. He said, the body has today become an object of salvation. It has literally taken over that moral and ideological function from the soul. Think about it. We are unremittingly subjected to this propaganda that tells us we only have one body and it simply must be saved. Just look at the language of modern wellness, the therapies, the spa treatments, the brutal regimes, the daily sacrifices. We've basically desacralized the soul only to completely resacralize the skin, the muscles, the figure. You're no longer saving your spirit. You're constantly, relentlessly told you must optimize your flesh. Section 2. Your body as capital asset. How we manage our flesh. So if the body is our new soul, how exactly does consumerism demand we treat it? Well, it demands we treat it as a hard asset. Baudrillard brilliantly illustrates the deep alienation we experience here. One manages one's body, he says. You are taught from a very young age to view your body not as a natural home, not as a spontaneous living organism that you just exist in, but as an investment property. You are literally the CEO of your own flesh. You've got to invest in it, manage it, and ensure it yields social and economic returns. And if your body doesn't look the part, you are essentially bankrupt in the eyes of the consumer system. Notice the really stark difference in how we're forced to exist now. A natural body is lived in. It's spontaneous, it breathes, it ages, it just is. But the managed body, that is monitored, constantly evaluated as a prestige good, and heavily, narcissistically invested in. But listen, this isn't true self-love at all. Consumerism requires your body to be liberated only so it can be meticulously exploited, a lot like labor power. You're told to rediscover your body, to pamper it. But the only drive that's truly being liberated is your drive to buy products and services to maintain it. Your body is tragically reduced to just another object in a massive system of objects. Section 3. Beauty as civic duty. Exploring beauty as a strict social command. If the body is a capital asset, how is its value actually measured? It's measured through an incredibly strict, unforgiving aesthetic standard. Baudrillard introduces this concept called functional beauty. In consumer society, beauty is no longer about the natural harmony of forms or a celebration of genuine human warmth. Not at all. It is the complete reduction of the body to an abstract, exchangeable sign of status. The market weaponizes these cold, abstract images of perfect bodies. Think of the empty, almost lifeless, objectless gaze of a fashion mannequin. It's an ecstatic absence. This imagery isn't meant to celebrate human flesh. It's explicitly designed to enforce conformity and completely slash your self-esteem, turning beauty into a cold, functional imperative. Now, while this pressure absolutely affects everyone, Baudrillard makes a point to note that it operates with a very specific, intensified violence for women. Beauty and slimness essentially operate as a strict fashion sign code. They act as your ultimate proof that you are a disciplined, compliant citizen of consumer society. Taking care of your figure is no longer a personal choice. It is proof of your salvation. It's proof that you are a member of the elect, in the exact same way that financial success proves the worth of a business person. The obsession with being slender is governed by the exact same arbitrary, shifting logic of fashion that dictates the Schultz of our cars or the design of our smartphones. Slimness is not a natural affinity. There is literally no biological rule that says beauty equates only to being painfully thin. But in a society of massive overconsumption, slenderness magically becomes the ultimate distinctive sign. It is an abstract top-down social command that you are forced to obey just to participate in society. Section 4. The violence of the diet. The dark reality of internalized aggression. So what happens when we are forced to obey an impossible, abstract social command? Well, we turn to violence against ourselves. Ascetic dieting, fasting, obsessive hygiene, brutal, punishing fitness routines, constant, unending body shame. We package all of this up and politely call it health and wellness. But Baudrillard pulls back the curtain and reveals that it is actually a profound form of internalized aggression. The aggressive drive against the body, which ancient societies used to manage through collective, shared rituals, has been fully unleashed in the modern world, completely disguised as solicitude and care. We are violently vitalizing our bodies, essentially acting as our own aggressive, unrelenting wardens. This quote really captures the tragic irony of our modern condition, doesn't it? Beauty and elegance are now merely alibis for a daily obsessive disciplinary exercise. We literally starve and punish ourselves in a desperate, exhausting attempt to comply with an affluent society's arbitrary mandate. We start treating our own bodies as menacing objects, things that must be watched over, reduced, controlled, and mortified. We are willingly sacrificing our own flesh to the abstract god of the figure. Section 5. Manufactured permanent dissatisfaction. The ultimate secret of this system. Why does the finish line always move? Why is it that even when you lose the weight or hit the goal, you still feel profoundly inadequate? It's because of what Baudrillard calls the code. You see, the consumer system doesn't sell you actual solutions. It doesn't sell you true satisfaction. It sells you signs. And signs only ever have meaning in their difference from other signs. Because this unconscious system of differences, the code, is constantly shifting and updating, your mind is structurally, mathematically prevented from ever feeling satisfied. The very moment you achieve one standard, the code alters, instantly presenting a new microscopic flaw you absolutely must fix, a new marginal difference you must attain to stay relevant. I want to offer you a profound sense of comfort here. Truly, you are structurally hardwired to fail at this game. The system literally depends on your chronic, agonizing dissatisfaction to continue selling gym memberships, diet plans, and wellness objects. Think about it. If you ever woke up one day and felt completely, wholly satisfied with your body, a multi-billion-dollar economic engine would just grind to a halt. Your permanent unhappiness, your unending anxiety is the literal fuel for their economic growth. As Baudrillard puts it so beautifully, this endless chase from one object to another, from one crash diet to another, is completely insatiable because it is fundamentally based on lack. The entire system relies on transferring a deep psychological feeling of emptiness into a frantic demand for consumer products. What this proves, without a doubt, is that the problem is not your willpower. The problem is not that you didn't try hard enough or wanted enough. You are trapped in a rigged economic game that deliberately substitutes genuine human desire for an unwinnable, exhausting chase after empty signs. Section 6. Reclaiming psychological relief. How we find our peace. So how do we detach from a system that is literally designed from the ground up to keep us perpetually anxious? By remembering and internalizing this ultimate truth. Your body anxiety is a systemic feature. It is not an individual flaw. Let that sink in. You now have official permission to stop blaming yourself for never feeling thin enough. You have been fighting an invisible, structural algorithm that was meticulously designed to alienate you from your own flesh. Recognizing that constraint, seeing the matrix for what it is the very first step toward true psychological liberation.
I want to challenge you right now to imagine life entirely outside this oppressive framework. What actually happens when you simply stop participating in the cult of the figure? What happens when you refuse to view your body as a functional asset that owes the world social prestige? What happens when you look in the mirror and actively refuse to decode your own reflection against the shifting arbitrary logic of consumer fashion?
Well, what happens is you step off the treadmill of signs. You break the Faustian pact of consumerism. By flat out refusing to treat your flesh as an alienated commodity, you completely dismantle the psychological hold the system has over you. You start to realize that you do not have to be an anxiety-ridden, exhausted manager of your own physical form. You can actually return to a lived-in, spontaneous existence where your body is simply your home. Just your home, not a walking billboard for social compliance. We leave you with this provocative, lingering thought today. Will you continue to manage your body as a business, forever exhausting yourself in the endless pursuit of an artificial functional beauty? Or will you finally allow yourself to just exist? The choice to step out of the code is entirely yours. Thank you so much for joining me in this explainer today, and I really, truly hope this perspective brings you the profound psychological peace that you deserve.